Hey guys, how are you this morning? I hope all is well. I just wanted to kind of come on and do a quick video about some things that I was meditating on this morning in referencing living in harmony with others. Recently, I've been really working through some things, not only with my marriage, but my relationships with others. And one of the really big key things in loving or looking through love through the blueprint in which it was created is learning how to live in harmony with others, love people where they're at, who they are, in spite of or despite what they do to you or things like that. And I know it's kind of easy to say, um, you know, love them in spite, forgive them. Everybody says those kind of things, and it's so crazy because we're human, and we react and we respond to a lot of things, how people treat us, what they say to us, what they imply, their actions. And so I was reading, in Hebrews, and I was also reading in Ephesians, where it talks about not allowing bitterness and indignation and the perception of what people do to you change your thought process. And so I'm always talking about what love without strings, or I'm always talking to you about loving people right where they're at. And so this morning I was kind of like really thinking about what has changed the things that, or the way I live in harmony with other people and those relationships. And one of those things is allowing yourself to forgiving people for the perception of what they've done to you, forgiving people for the things that they actually do to you, not allowing a root of bitterness to become festered within your heart. And not only that, a root of bitterness that becomes a lens that goes over your eyes. And so then you begin to look at everything through that bitterness, that, oh, somebody did something to me, or this is what they meant, or this is what they're going to do. And so then you're not able to authentically or intentionally love an individual or have a relationship with other people because you're too busy worried about the bitterness, or allowing the bitterness to cloud your vision, your purpose. Recently, I've gone through some things in my marriage with my husband, and there was a time where I had to literally take 30 days and work out some forgiveness issues. I really had to sit there and every single day become intentional about forgiving him for some of the things that happened. And it wasn't because he cheated on me or any of those things. It was really like things he had said to me, or things that didn't pan out to be the whole truth, which to me, if you didn't tell the truth, you didn't lie. So I looked at it in those kind of that way, that's my perception of things. So I have to really deal with that. And so I was reading how bitterness and indignation and all of those things will render you useless and unhelpful to others. So then when I heard that in my spirit, I was like, wait a minute. So my unforgiveness, my bitterness, my indignation of purpose to other people, or whatever those things are, will stop me from being useful to other people. Well, that can't happen, because then how can you even process or even do purpose in your life? Because purpose is always for not necessarily yourself, but it's also for you to do for other people. You were created for a purpose in this world in order to help others. So if you have rendered yourself useless or rendered yourself a lack of taste, that's even worse, because there's nothing in you that's flavorable for others to listen. There's nothing else that you have that will help other people, because now you have allowed resentment and bitterness and unforgiveness to take root, and now you are no longer useful for other people. You no longer are helpful for other people. And that's huge. That really negates your whole entire purpose. And so how do you love an individual through a new set of lenses in your life? By forgiving, letting those things go, which is easier said than done. And please know, I know that. But you have to make a conscious decision on a daily basis to forgive, meaning that forgiveness, let go of the resentment, let go of the bitterness. Don't embrace it. I mean, that even goes with like, okay, so let's really say this. Let's talk about it for real. When you say, okay, I forgive you, but then you still in your heart, when you see that person, something pulls up, you really haven't let it completely go. Now, it doesn't mean don't be wise. If somebody has cheated you or misused you or abused you or any of those other things, absolutely, you need to just cut ties and keep it moving. But I'm talking about things like, okay, somebody did something to you and you're like, okay, well, let me kind of, I forgive them. But then every time you see that individual, there's an attitude or there's some type of edge. There's something sitting on your shoulder. No, you haven't forgiven them. And that root is still there. You may have cut the branches around it, but the root of what it is still there. And you have to recognize it. You have to acknowledge it. And then you really have to ask God to help you get rid of that thing. That's meaning, in the way that I look at those things, is you really have to consciously make an effort to move forward, meaning that you continue to check your own spirit, check your own heart and your own self and say, okay, am I still operating in bitterness? Am I still operating in resentment? Check yourself, because you know better than anybody else what's really going on. I always tell people this all the time. You can lie to me. You can lie to your friends. You can lie to your mama. You can lie to your daddy. You can lie to whomever, your best friend, your BFF, however you want to do it. But when you look at yourself in the mirror, do not lie to yourself. When you lie to yourself, you do your own self a disservice, because you are operating in some type of fantasy that doesn't even exist. So be kind, be helpful, be useful to yourself, and tell yourself the truth. Deal with that thing that makes you untasteful, that makes you ugly, that makes you not trust people. The one thing I really walked away from in the last 3 weeks is I've got to trust God that He has everything about my life in order. I may not have it in order, but He has it in order, because He does things in decency and things that are in order. And if I let go of bitterness, I let go of resentment, I let go of hurt and past pain and things of those things, God will render me useful and helpful, which then activates my purpose for why He created me. That's huge to me. And I hope it's huge to you, that you really understand that your purpose to love people allows you to be useful and helpful. Do not render yourself useless and unhelpful to God, which then will stop everything that He has for you. You stay useful. You let go of the bitterness. Stop thinking about the disappointments. People will disappoint you. Everybody disappoints somebody at some time. Trust me. You know, your mama done disappointed you, your daddy done disappointed you, your best friend done disappointed you, your boss done disappointed you, your sister, your brother, whomever it is, at some point in your life, you will be disappointed. So why hold on to it? I read this thing to you and it says, let all bitterness and indignation and wrath and resentment, quarreling, slander, abusive or blasphemous language be banished from you with all malice, and become useful and helpful and kind to one another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another as Christ forgave you. I mean, truth be told, I'm probably going to preach a whole nother sermon on this, for real, for real. I just kind of wanted to talk. I'm at 10 minutes now. But I just thought you should know that living in harmony with others makes you useful and helpful. And when you're not living in harmony, you become disabled. And so then your love doesn't work anymore. So I hope that helps you. Hope you have a good day. Thanks. Bye.